Good afternoon, Gervais Birangui ici, live. Sorry again for the delay. Good afternoon to everybody. Thank you again for today. Please share the live. Tonight we're going to speak in English first and then end up in French, but it's more targeted to my English audience to speak about our history a little bit, speak about the people, the original people, the original Congo people, especially now sitting on the land of our ancestors, which is Federation Congo. I'm trying to explain a little bit what's going on, make a quick resume of what we've been going through, and of course make the plea for the international community, especially the English one, to come and help us. Let's share the video to everybody. I'm gonna speak. Share the video to the groups. Share the video. Share the video here. I'm gonna share here also on YouTube. Share the video if you have people who speak English, even those from those countries who speak English. Share the video to them. We're gonna talk a little bit. Okay. So let's share the video on your WhatsApp and Facebook. I'll share the video. And then Twitter. Okay. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I'll share the video to your English audience. I'm trying to see something about my contact. I'm trying to see where. Give me a minute, a little bit. Yeah. Bonsoir. Good afternoon, Dorothée Bimba. I'm going to speak in English first tonight. And let me see here. Federation. Hashtag FK. Hashtag USK. Hashtag Federation. Hashtag Kongo. Okay, so thank you again. Thank you all for the opportunity to speak. Tonight is more of a resume of what happened to Congo people. It's more of a resume tonight that I would like to talk about of what happened to us and how we seek the help of all these English speaking countries to help us uh, basically uh, save the life of the Congo regional people who are left. It's a big deal because our history been pretty brutal for our people. Our history made a lot of money for some, but for the original people of the lands of what used to be the empire of the Congo Empire, which today is sitting on what we have called the Federation of Congo, basically with our people's support, it's imperative that everybody understand every country in Africa, every country in the Western world, and even in the Eastern world, that you understand the impact of a destabilization of this part of the African region. We are here because we have tried as much as we could to figure out how to solve this problem. The problem is in which our original people of the lands, those who came from this map here that you can see close to me, which is today what we call the Federation of Congo, which is the new country, the newest country we have been formed October 23rd, 2021, after a massive support of the original people, the landowners, and those who have seen the destruction that our people went through. They have agreed, they came together after being under for over 40 years of dictatorship. They have agreed to separate from the Republic of Congo, who have done nothing for our people, who basically just let us die and let us stay poor. So through this new country, the original Congo people are trying to express themselves and say that we have enough of oppression. We have enough of being treated like we don't belong to our own land. So tonight I just want to resume a little bit the history of the people original from this map here that you have in front of me, the people who are now under this flag here behind me. And I want to talk about a little bit why we got here. And I'm going to try to be as fair as I can. It's not about really number statistics. No, to me, I want you to focus on the Congo people. Because this country was created because we needed to protect human life of Congos. We needed to protect our natural resources, and we needed to protect our land. Without land, you have nowhere to go. You don't have a country. If you're born somewhere and you've been in this land from generation, and somebody come and take your land, you have nowhere to go. You become a foreigner on your own soil. So this is why this country was put together to protect those who have not benefit from their own land. These Congo people that I'm talking to you about, these are the people that came from the empire of Congo that was broken down in many different countries that you see today that they call African countries. But that was not the way it started. They split this kingdom in different countries and created all these African countries that you know today. So the Congo people with K, because I have to say, you don't get confused. When you hear Congolese, that's with the C. That's what France created after the Berlin Conference in 1958. They created a country they call Republic of Congo. The Republic of Congo belonged to France. France created that country. That's not the Congo that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the original people, the different tribe who've been living there for generations, the owner of the land, the landlords. These are those who have been brutalized. These are those who have been hoodwinked for decades now. And this new country that was born October 23rd, 2021, with the majority support of Congo people with K, was put together because actually when that country that is today the Federation of Congo was together with the Republic of Congo, the Republic of Congo did not take care of the people, of our people. They basically let our people to die because they put power in the hands of a dictator who came from overseas, who installed himself in the north of what is the Republic of Congo, and then forced his leadership on our regional people, the landowner, the people who basically received them almost 100 years ago. So the people that the land belonged to receive all these foreign people who move in to come work, because back in the day, when they was trying to form the Republic of Congo, just after World War II, or even when uh, France flee from French leader flee from World War II, when France was annexed by Germany, by the Nazis back, during World War II. They came and find refuge in our lands, which they used to call the own colony, because it was the colonization time. The thing is, people who've been there for centuries, the original people of these lands, have been the victim of foreign dictatorship, because the guy that they put in charge of that country the last 40 years, Denis Sassou Nguesso, is not from our land. He's not from these lands that you're looking at here, which is today the Federation of Congo. The Federation of Congo have 4 states, United States, and 1 kingdom. So you have the state of Mpangala, you have the state of Buenza, you have the state of Lekumu, you have the state of Nyadi, which I'm from, which I'm the chosen by the people, the chosen leader and governor of, and the kingdom of Luango. So it's 4 United States and 1 kingdom that form what is today the Federation of Congo, which used to be the south of the Republic of Congo. So we got here because they have refused to develop our people. It's really simple. It's not. We don't need to go to many different statistical figures or talk about money and all that. All we have to do is look at what they've done to the regional people, the people that the owners of the land, the landlords. What happened to them? What happened to their lives? My plea tonight is to explain to the international community, and especially the English-speaking countries, what has happened to the original Congo people, the owner of the land that some are called, the French are called Republic of Congo. That's, we see, that's not a country put together by our people. So after they made their contract with who used to be the leaders of the Republic of Congo, but at that time, those who are in power today, Denis Sassou Nguesso and his tribe, the Mboshi, never been part even of the deal made when France created the Republic of Congo. Those who was there, who made that deal, the majority of them was the people original from the Congo side, of this side of this new country that we call the Federation Congo. So after so-called colonization, they went to, I guess, dictatorship. They're trying to do an independent country at first, but that's not what they end up doing. They end up with a dictatorship. They brought a bunch of guys, military guys from the north, to basically take over the South. Basically, that's what it is. That South is where the original people are, the owners of the land. The North is where the minority of people who came from overseas back in the day when they was making, when they was creating railroads, to have train and all that. When they was putting together railroad, these people came in to work. And a couple of decades later, now they insert themselves into what used to be the Republic of Congo on the Bateke side, on the north side. And for some reason, France, who have created the Republic of Congo, choose to put in leadership these guys from the north, which Denis Sassou Nguesso come from. I mean, basically was put there because he was originally from, Benin, that country. But he immigrated there. And for all of a sudden, he became one of the leaders, military leader of the army of the Republic of Congo. And then he had killed the dictator who was there in place, Nguesso, and he took his place, and anything lead to other, he became the leader of that country. So, what has he done for our people? For the original people, the Congo people. All these tribes who've been living there for centuries, what has he done for them? Nothing. He brought destruction to our land. When they made the deal with France, when they made the contract with France, first of all, that contract was one of the worst countries in the history because they got maybe, the Republic of Congo kept maybe 17 or 20% of ownership, and they give up all the resources. The problem with giving up all the natural resources to exploitation from foreign country is that you cannot give up what doesn't belong to you. So these guys who move into our lands, take the nationality, have been put in power over the original people who've been there for centuries. Go do deals with France, who created that country, because the Republic of Congo is a creation of France, not from our people. Our people didn't agree to that. So they put this guy from the north in power. And when you go do the contracts, the oil contract, because we have all the natural resources, by the way. We are really rich in natural resources. That's why they came to those lands, because of our resources. It's not because of us, we know it's because of our resources. So the problem is they made a bad deal already from the start. And then over the years, the 17 or 20% of ownership that Denis Sassou Nguesso and his dictatorship regime had didn't bother to do anything for the original people that he find there either. So they got a raw deal at first. They introduced that CFA franc that you cannot actually use in Europe. You actually just use it in Africa, really. Because every time you go to Europe or United States, you have to convert that money. So they created debt that doesn't exist by using our resources. I mean, that's the banking system that they put there. So basically, people like Sassou Nguesso agreed to that deal. He never got the support of our people. Because he came there. It's not these lands. And the natural resources, the majority of them are sitting on our lands. They're sitting on the state of Nyadi, on the state of Mpangala, on the state of Lekumu, on the state of Buenza, and on the kingdom of Luango. The kingdom of Luango is where the big chunk of the oil market is. So they start to sell out those natural resources. They only have maybe 17 or 20% of ownership, but even they don't even really have ownership, because when you go look at the contract, they actually don't even manage the resources. They have foreign countries. They have corporations from Italy, from France, maybe a couple from the United States and from other countries, but those corporations are the ones who are managing the resources. And basically the Republic of Congo, they just signing paper. They don't do anything. They don't control nothing. They don't even see what is coming out of our soil, which already was a bad deal in the first place, that was put together by France. So even with the little ownership that they have, good evening, Hervé Kinkala. Good evening, Julian Ngoma. Good evening, Jean-Robert Malonga. Good evening, everybody. We're going to speak in English. We're talking in English first here for our English audience. So when you look at the way things went with the Republic of Congo, which is the country that was created by France, to the 1958 contract, it was already a bad deal for our people. Worst of all, Denis Sassou Nguesso, who imposed himself in power. And I'm going to explain to you why he imposed himself. Because he came to power under a dictatorship era with support of France, because France was there doing business. Then we got to the 1990s, where France started to talk about democracy. And the old French president, Jacques Chirac, started to talk about, yeah, we need to do democracy. You know, Africa need to go in democracy and all that good stuff. You know, we were supposed to now have the opportunity to develop ourselves, to get out of dictatorship of single party, basically, leadership, and, you know, give the opportunity for the rest of the country to grow. So they came with that nice sounding words of democracy, and they say, okay, the dictator been there for over 10 years, so now we're going to try, we like you guys to do election like we do here in the West or in the East. So we like you to share more power, because the point of democracy is supposed to be sharing power, supposed to be growing. But under autocracy, there was no sharing power. It's one party in charge and one family making, taking, basically controlling all the money, and everybody else is just getting crumbs. So in the 1990s, they came up with that democracy sound. France is doing. France, who created the Republic of Congo. Let me just be clear. This country belonged to France, and in a contract, it's not even a country. In a contract, the so-called president of the Republic of Congo is just what they call, it's like a préfet. It's like not even a governor. You could say a governor of the country, because is inside the community of France. So France put all these countries that he used to colonize under what they call a community. So basically, the Republic of Congo, they're just like France. They should be like one country. So because that's how France wanted to keep controlling the colonies. And they still control it because they put this bad deal in there with the CFA franc, and they create the debt that doesn't exist to control the resources. So that's the deal that they signed in 1958. But what happened with that deal? They created autocracy, dictatorship. The dictator was there for over 10 years. And then in the 1990s, they decided they wanted to do democracy. They wanted to look good. Good evening, Bella Pungi. So in the 1990s, then the Republic of Congo decided that, okay, we're going to try to go and fix our problems. We're going to go to a national conference and basically pull out everything that happened during dictatorship. The first 10 years of Denis Sassou Nguesso dictatorship, where he used to kill everybody, he basically slaughtered every opponent that he had against him. But now we're going to try to go to democracy. We want to get the people involved. So France came up with that sound. Then they went to a national conference in the 1991 to basically bring the country together and then trying to start under those democratical principles. Then they created political parties. It was not one political party anymore, which is PCT, the party was in charge from the first 10 or 15 years of dictatorship of Sassou Nguesso. So they went in the 1990s, they started the democracy, they created multiple parties. But what happened is, what we noticed, most of the parties was basically split by region. Basically, most of the people were supporting somebody from their part, from their region. So right now, like you see here, you have the state of Nyadi, the state of Buenza, the state of Lekumu, the state of Pangala, and the kingdom of Luango. So basically, the people originally from the state of Nyadi put their support behind a leader from the Nyadi. And what they did, they made a deal with the state of Pangala, the state of Buenza, and the state of Lekumu, and those three states came together and basically picked a leader who is more in tune with who they think will represent them better. Don't forget, in the north they had Sassou Nguesso, but the north is the majority. The south is where the majority of us are, the Kongo original people are, and that's where the resources are. This is why it's such a big deal. So in the 1990s, they came up with that democracy time, and then our people pick their leader. And those from the state of Pangala pick who was the most powerful leader at that time, which is Bernard Kolela's father, because the son also came to politics a couple of years later. But the father was one of the most powerful figures of that side of the state of Pangala, and he was another leader also, Milongo, who did work at the World Bank, who was also representing that part of the state of Pangala. So you could see that the way democracy was shaping itself on our land is people was picking the leader that speak their traditional language, that they know, that they saw grow up, that connected most with them. So that's how democracy works in our lands. I want you to follow me here to understand what's going on. So this part of which is today the Federation of Congo picked their leader. They went to the election. They beat Sassou Nguesso, right? He was beat at the first, because they did it in French style. In French style, you go to the first round, and then you go to a second round. That's in the French style. democracy. So Sassou Nguesso lost the first round because he was the dictator. Nobody liked him, and he had actually, because he was going to a democratical situation, people realized they don't like him because he's the one who created all the murder. He killed everybody. He tortured everybody for 10 years. He was a ruthless dictator. So he already had a bad reputation because he killed a bunch of people. And the majority of the people that he was killing was basically the smart people coming from the South, which is who are people who belong to these 4 states, even the kingdom of Luango. So he was killing basically the minds, the big minds. That's what he did the first 10 years. So when that time came to pick a leader to lead us, naturally our people picked somebody who was more close to them, which is the professor Pascal Lissouba, which is one of the biggest mind of what used to be the Republic of Congo. A smart man, a man who had experience, a man who used to be in power when they created the Republic of Congo as one of the ministers of that first government. Basically, when they was trying to go from colonization to independence, so he was in power. So he had already a history of leadership, and they did a pretty good job. They paid down the debt. They start developing what used to be the beginning of the Republic of Congo. So Professor Pascal Lissouba had a strong leadership, and he was the only one who actually had a vision that he put on paper, basically a program to develop the Republic of Congo in 1991. So he came from France, where he was in exile for years, and came back to the Republic of Congo and got the majority almost automatically support, right? And they go to the election, and he won. So the president, Pascal Lissouba, became the first man who had the majority support of the land of our people, of the state of Nyadi, the state of Pangala, the state of Lekumu, the state of Buenza, and even the kingdom of Luango. Many people from all over the states voted for him. So he became the first man who basically enjoyed what we call the majority support. That's how you guys in the Western world describe democracy. So he was the first man in the history of our people who got that much support. And he became president. The first elected president of the Republic of Congo. But what happened? and this is when the history, you should understand why today we are 2 different countries, because we saw what France did when the people picked their leader. When the people picked their leader, for all of a sudden, France wasn't happy anymore, because that first elected president, who is the first one to have the majority support, demanding that we change the old contract from 17 or 16% that Sassou Nguesso agreed with to 35%. So the Pascal Lissouba looked at his people at that time and look at the 30 years since the independence, how much destruction that the regime of Denis Sassou Nguesso did on our land, on our people. He saw that we wasn't developed. We still didn't have electricity everywhere. We still didn't have water everywhere. The country wasn't built, basically. So he put in place a nice program where he even said with his own word that he wanted to make the Republic of Country look like a small Switzerland, because everybody know about Switzerland, which is a country where is built, and that's where the most of the rich people of the world go park their money. We know about Switzerland. So in his vision at that time, he wanted to turn the Republic of Congo to a little Switzerland, because he knew all the resources that we had. So when he got elected, and I want you to hear me right here, because this is why we're here today, to tell you that that's why we're not interested in what Sassou Nguesso and friends are trying to do. We did our democracy. For people who don't know, I'm speaking to the English side of the world. If you didn't know about the history of my people, that's what I want to tell you today. We did pick our leader. And he came in with a lot of motivation. And then, soon as he wanted to get more ownership and build the country, they start another civil war. They started a civil war in 1993. So it's not about democracy, because we are democracy. No, they didn't like the fact that he wanted to develop the country, and they didn't like the fact that he asked for more ownership on the resources. They started first civil war in 1993. Him as president was able to stop that. And then, just before he hit his 5 years, because the term was 5 years, Sassou Nguesso came from France back, ready to go to war, already prepared all the weapons and all that stuff. And boom, just before the election, the second civil war started. And then we back to zero. And then Sassou Nguesso, by using the country of Angola, by killing most of our people, the original people of Congo, came and bombarded what is today the Federation of Congo. Basically dropped bombs, killed a bunch of civilians, and the war was over. So, and Sassou Nguesso installed himself with French support. So now France brought back Sassou Nguesso because they didn't like the fact that the president Pascal Lissouba was working to develop his people and his country. But they're talking about the Republic of Congo is a country. Yeah, they picked the dictator as long as he was giving them more than Pascal Lissouba, it was okay. So that's why when it comes to the contract with France, there is no respect, because what they signed, they never respected that. They never let our people develop. They did the opposite. They supported the dictator who came and killed most of us. The original people, the Kongo people, which I'm a descendant from. So Sassou Nguesso come back after a bloody civil war in 1997. And what do you think gonna happen? Tyranny. He killed more than he ever killed before. He put together a process that he called Operation Mweba Operation. It's basically an ethnic cleansing operation. We have the documentation. We can show you the documentation exists. And I know everybody is aware of it. Okay, we're not going to do like, we know that the United Nations, they're aware of it. France was aware of it. Everybody is aware of it. They just turn a blind eye. And this operation is basically a genocide against the original people, which was on the south of the country, which is today the Federation. And they start killing. He went on his killing spree, because he wanted to, it's like a vengeance, because you remember the majority of our people rejected him at the election. Never forget that. So he was rejected. He was really bitter about that. So when he came back to power with France's help, France brought it back. Yeah, we have to say it the way it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. France brought Denis and Sassou Nguesso back in power. France stopped democracy because they didn't like the president that the Congo people have chosen to lead them, and that president trying to get more ownership, trying to develop the country. France never liked that. They brought back Sassou Nguesso. They armed him, they gave him money, they gave him weapons, and then he came back and he used Angola country. Dos Santos gave him airplane and he bombarded our cities, our villages, killed over tens of thousands of people, and got back to power. And France didn't say a word. So this is democracy. That's what they call democracy. So since 1997, we are today in 2022. Denis Sassou Nguesso have been kept in power all these years. But what this have done to our people? Don't forget, when he came back, he started his revenge. He started to go on ethnic cleansing spree, killing our people, bombarded them. And the other way he started the destruction, he didn't build. No hospital, no electricity 24/7, no water. He even poisoned the waters. So basically, all this time, all he did is develop the north of the Republic of Congo, where his village, Oyo, is, and basically the village people who received him when he came to Congo. He developed there, but the majority of the South, remember, the South is where the people chosen President Pascal Lissouba when they came to play the democracy game, when France trying to play the democracy game in our land. So all that part never been developed. And he did worse. He actually started selling the lands. This is what the issue is. He starts selling the lands of where the original people are. The land of the kingdom of, as I'm speaking to, the kingdom of Luango, today, they sold 95% of the land to foreigners. Think about that. If I'm in the United States and I'm in the state of Georgia, think about a leader in Georgia who's going to take 95% of the state of Georgia and sell it to France. Put yourself in our place. How would it feel if somebody in the leadership come and sell your lands without the people, the original, the people that the land belonged to foreigners? That's what Sassou Nguesso did. So in his vengeance, in his hatred against the original people who basically received him when he was a kid, decades ago, his hatred because people rejected him, they didn't like him, they didn't love him, they didn't want him. He not just start killing us, but he starts selling our lands to foreigners. So Denis Sassou Nguesso started it. So, 30 years later, this is where we come in. 30 years later, a new generation of leaders come together, and we live in different countries. Many of us, was pushed overseas because of the condition of the Republic of Congo, where it's not built, there is not, the basic way of of be able to, to build yourself or get wealth. And what they are put in a mind there where the only way to be successful is to go to politics or go to the army. And then you have to join, those organizations like the Freemason. It doesn't mean the same thing. The Freemason in America is not the same thing in the Republic of Congo. Over there, I mean, it's brutal what they're doing to people. And they're basically breaking people. They beat them into submission. Basically, you cannot build anything. You cannot bring new ideas. You have to just line up behind the dictator, the leader, and not develop your people. That's the big problem that we have. This thing about selling out the resources and not developing our people, that's where this generation of leaders came out and say no. So my generation, we came together a couple of years ago, about 4 years ago, maybe 5. We decided, you know what? We won't change. But not the change that France brought us, because France didn't really want any change, because France brought back the dictators soon as they understood that we was trying to develop ourselves. And they didn't say anything when he was killing our people, when he was committing genocide and bombarding or poisoning water and using the Mwebar operation to wipe us out. France didn't say a word. France supported him. France received him over there à la Maison Blanche. Not the Maison Blanche, but you call this in the French presidency in Paris. They always receive him like a normal leader, when he's basically one of the most ruthless dictators left in the history of Africa. They never brought him to justice. They never asked for him to pay back what he did to our people. So a new generation of leaders came together a couple of years ago, and we decided that we will put together back the coalition of the Congo people to solve our problem, to make sure that this time around we get built. This time around, if the power structure change, we can develop. So what we did is we asked from people from different parts of the Republic of Congo, because the Republic of Congo have 12 departments, originally. That's where they put it over there. So we requested that we get leaders from each department to come together, and as we come together, we're going to create a document who's going to allow us to fix what have been done wrong to our people for over 40 years under Denis Sassou Nguesso dictatorship. So this group of people came together, and we called ourselves Congo Debout. Congo Debout is basically Congo Standard. And we wanted to stand against over 40 years of tyranny from Denis Sassou Nguesso regime, from Denis Sassou Nguesso party, PCT, and from Denis Sassou Nguesso family. Because since in our generation, Denis Sassou Nguesso children now are in power too. They are in politics and they control other businesses. He basically put his family in charge of the Republic of Congo. So we say that can't continue, because we're still the victim of this situation. The only way for us to stop it is to come together, and we came together. So a bunch of leaders came in. We said, okay, we came together. Okay, we have to put together a vision so we can save our people. And we created that vision, And we created what we call a manifest to basically liberate the Republic of Congo. We put together a document. We went on a campaign, on the most powerful campaign in my generation, to share that document with everybody in the world, and all these people who are original from those lands. We say, look, we have a document, we have a vision now we want to execute, and we would like to have your support, and we would like the change to be made in the Republic of Congo so we can also start enjoying also the natural resources that come from our part of the country, because the natural resources are all sitting, the majority, on the south of what used to be the Republic of Congo. They rejected the deal because in that document it specifically requested that the Sassou Nguesso regime, first of all, face the crime that it did. It requested that the politician that was paying themselves astronomical amount of money when they wasn't developing the people, we cut their salary in half. So we are the first generation to challenge the way politics was done in the Republic of Congo. We basically cut the politician's salary in half because we want that money to go back to the people that they haven't developed, and we want an accountability for the Sassou Nguesso regime. Of course, we wanted him to step down because he had over 40 years of power. He done nothing for our people. He had to step down. He had to give an opportunity for everybody else to come to the table and for people to pick their leaders, to go to a form of democracy that we call a federal democracy. And he was thinking about having a prime minister and spread basically spread the power between all the 12 departments. That was the offer that we made to the Republic of Congo to solve the situation with this 40 years of dictatorship, the fact that our people been slaughtered and France have said nothing. So we presented that to France, we presented that to everybody. They rejected that because they wanted to keep the Nguesso in power. So in 2021, Sassou Nguesso came to force himself again in power. So after all these years that new leadership trying to come and change things in the Republic of Congo, they rejected that offer because they didn't want to share power. Basically, the big thing was they didn't want to share power. The Mboshi, Sassou Nguesso family, they wanted to stay in power because they've been there for decades now. But their power, their leadership never developed what was the south of the Republic of Congo, what was the original, where the original people of those lands are living. We've been the victim of a brutal dictatorship for 40 years, so we wanted to move on. And we wanted to change the structure of the politics. They rejected that. And France also rejected that. So what we did, with the support of our people, we went and decided that we will part from the Republic of Congo. So we went first, we let France know that all the contracts that you have made where this part of the lands of our people are became voided. So the kingdom of Luango, led by Chikazinga Ier, His Majesty, is a king that we recognize, and the second king, Makoso V, they basically cut the contract with France June 20th, 2020. So they sent the correspondence, they sent the letters, they told France, the kingdom of Luango cut all ties through contracts with France. And us, in 2021, when we made the alliance with the kingdom of Luango, because don't forget, the four states, the state of Mpangala, the state of Nyadi, the state of Bwenza, the state of Lekumu, was together already because we came together under Kongo Debout. Don't forget, I told you that we went and looked for leaders. We came together. So we put together those four states who came together a couple of years earlier. But what we didn't have the alliance with the kingdom of Luango, because we had to have leaders there who wanted to do the alliance with us. So during that time in 2021, we made the alliance with the kingdom of Luango. We became one. So you have the kingdom of Luango and the fourth United States of the Federation, which is the state of Nyadi, the state of Pangala, the state of Bwenza, and the state of Lekumu. And together we came, it's like 5. So we made that alliance and we said, okay, to our people, we went to which is actually a referendum. We call this, we put it under a petition. It's a referendum, basically. And we asked our people from each state to decide if they wanted to part from the Republic of Congo and if they wanted to recognize the leadership that we are, basically us who put together the 4 states, us who put together the 4 states and the kingdom of Luango. And between us, you have Bernard Pungi, which is one of the strongest leaders that I've been working with for years now, who represent the state, who is basically the governor of the state of Bwenza and the state of Lekumu. We have Edim Kai, which is the representative of the state of Mpangala, but he also the man who created our most powerful media, which is PSTV, which is the channel that we use to communicate for the past 4 years. This is basically our CNN or our MSNBC or our Fox News. It's called PSTV. So we have created, so you see that we've been working hard for many years to put together our own leadership machine and communication machine where we could communicate to you, communicate to our people. So Ejim Kai, which is the governor of the state of Pangala, is also the owner and the one who built the platform of PSTV. And then you have the 2 kings of the kingdom of Luango, led by Chikazinga Premier, which is the rightful king of Luango. And then you have his second, which is Makoso Sank, which come after him, which are now the representative of the kingdom of Luango. Luango is where the oil is. So don't get confused. This is where the states that I'm talking to you about, those 4 United States and the kingdom of Luango, this is where the resources are, the majority of them. This is where France got rich, France got developed with the resources coming from those lands. The people there are the original people who belong, who are the owners of those lands, basically those tribes. You got some foreigners who came in, but that's where the original people came from. These are the people that have signed that petition, which is a referendum, and have agreed to give to the 4 that I give you the name of, and myself. I'm represent the state of Nyadi. The state of Nyadi is this state here, the green one. The green one, the state of Nyadi. And I'm the governor of the state of Nyadi, chosen by the people of Nyadi through this process of the petition, which is a referendum. And so I'm the one who represents the state of Nyadi. Bernard Pungi represents the state of Lekumu and Bwenza. He has 2 states. And Ejimke represent the state of Mpangala, and both king, Chikazinga Premier and Makoso Sen, represent the kingdom of Luango. So this alliance became the strength which our people agree to voice their future. So we went on a referendum. We put together a referendum. We studied online, and we did it manually, because online we noticed that basically it's been boycotted. And we know that France have a hands in there. France and the Republic of Congo, they basically slowed down the online petition. So what we did, we just created a manual petition, and we sent it all over the world. And people start signing by the thousands. Basically creating, with their signature, they created the base to transfer Congo Debout and the alliance between Congo Debout and the Luango Insoumis and Souverain. Basically both sides came together, give us the opportunity to go and create our country. But we just didn't jump in, create our country. What we did is, we did something traditionally called Mbongi. Mbongi is basically the place where we go to heal our differences. Because of the history between our people, because of the two civil wars, because of all the destruction that Sassou Nguesso have brought to our people, and the reason why Sassou Nguesso made 40 years, because many leaders, the people before us who lead that the Republic of Congo before us, have agreed to basically sold out our people to make money with Sassou Nguesso. So we had to heal our tribes. So we went back to the traditional place of Mbongi. We used the technology with PSTV. We created a platform where we give the opportunity to all our people to come in and speak about what they want for their future and what happened to them. And you could see during this process how much pain have been put on our people for the last 40 years. So we basically went on a healing spree. We went on therapy. That's what the Mbongi is. It's a therapeutical process to heal people. So we came out of Mbongi, we did 10 of them every Sunday. For 3 months, every Sunday we met in PSTV. People came to speak, people wrote, people sent their letters. But as we was doing that, the petition, the referendum was going all across different countries where all the Congos are, and people were signing the petition to agree to transfer power to this new leadership put together under the 4 states and the kingdom of Luango, and they agree that they will give us the authority to take them to the future. And we start collecting thousands of signatures. And during the Mbongi, we came together, and our people agreed that we needed to separate from the Republic of Congo. So we came, we healed, and they said that, okay, we are ready to separate. We want our own country, we want our own leaders, we want to make sure that now we're going to go to our own direction. So in October 23rd, 2021, the Federation of Congo was born. The Federation of Congo was born in October 2020, the 23rd of October 2021. And the Federation of October represent these states here: the state of Nyadi, the state of Lekumu, the state of Buenza, the state of Pangala, and the state, the Royaume Luango, the Kingdom of Luango. This part that you see, the Federation of Congo, used to be the south of the Republic of Congo. Basically, it's split in half. So this country here is half of what used to be the Republic of Congo. But this country here was put together by the original people, the Congo people with K, those who do the land belong to, those who are the owners of those lands. They have decided through our voices, those 5 leaders, that they wanted their own country, and we have put together the process to give them their own country. So that's democracy, because it's been put together by people voice. And we have the signatures as we're speaking to you, since it's a referendum. We have over 30,000 signatures, and that happened in under a year. Let me explain. This process between unifying our tribe, healing our people, creating the country, we did all that under a year. So when the Republic of Congo and France realized what we did, when the Republic of Congo and France realized that they lost what used to be the south of the Republic of Congo, because now it's not the south anymore, it's the Federation Congo, the Congo Federation. And this country will have about 2.5 million people when we put that together. But right now, we have over 30,000 of families, villages, leaders of villages, leaders of families, children. Everybody came together because they wanted to separate themselves from Nguesso and France. I want to be clear, and I want you to understand why I'm talking about Paul Kagame Rwanda today, because once France realized that they lost the south of the Republic of Congo, which became the Federation, France and the Republic of Congo, Sassou Nguesso, and now his son, because now he's trying to push his son to power. Just like France pushed the father for 40 years, imposed the father for 40 years, killed democracy in the 1990s, kicked out the man who was picked by the majority of the people, President Pascal Lissouba, who basically passed away in France. He died as a refugee. He was the man elected by majority of support, died as a refugee overseas. Now, France realized that the young generation did something that never been done. We put together our people, we heal our people, we basically changed 100 years of history. We rejected the contract with France, because what we did, we stopped that contract, we void that contract. Now what they decided to do, since now they're trying to install the son of Sassou Nguesso, one of the so-called sons, Christel thief, because he's a professional thief. Christel thief Nguesso. Then they decided that what they would do is when to get Paul Kagame of Rwanda, and you know the Rwandan history, made a business deal and sell to Paul Kagame of Rwanda the lands of our ancestors here. So they created a type of so-called business where Paul Kagame of Rwanda gonna become the owner of part of these 4 states, even part of the King of Luango. So France realized that they lost the South, France and Republic of Congo realized that they lost our people. So they decided to put a poison pill in the middle of the Federation of Congo. They decided to introduce a poison pill, and that poison pill is Paul Kagame of Rwanda. Everybody knows that Rwanda have one of the most ruthless civil war in the history of people. The butchers of Rwanda, Paul Kagame. So they think they're smart. They think they made a smart move by bringing Rwanda in the middle of the land of the Federation. Basically, they decided to sell the lands that doesn't belong to them. Don't forget, this land never belonged to Sassou Nguesso. It's not original, it's not Congo, it's not from the blood of our ancestors. He's a foreign guy that was adopted in the north of the Republic of Congo. Now that he saw our people came together and created their own country, and now we're getting ready to take our country, put together our country physically, they injected a poison pill, Paul Kagame, which is one of the most ruthless dictators in the history of Africa. So basically, they want to create a war between the Federation of Congo and Rwanda, and a war between the Federation of Congo and the Republic of Congo, because Sassou Nguesso knows he cannot beat us when we're together. France knows that Sassou Nguesso cannot beat us when we're together. So they brought Rwanda in the middle of our lands to basically create a two-faction war. And they think we didn't see it coming, or we didn't understand what he was trying to do. And France is part of that. I want to be clear. I'm speaking to all these English-speaking countries. France is part of that. Just like France was part of the genocide, didn't do anything when the genocide in Rwanda happened. Go back to history, see what happened. So they're basically manufacturing a new genocide, and they now want to use the hands of Paul Kagame of Rwanda to come take over the land of the Federation of Congo and create a genocide there. So the 40 years of oppression that our people went through with Sassou Nguesso, for France is not enough. Now they add Rwanda in the middle of our country. And the deal that the son of Sassou Nguesso, Christel, thief Nguesso, did, which is the man who stole the most money of my generation, over $100 billion, and him and his father, they stole money and they never built our people. Now he wants to impose himself as the new dictator, and he wants Paul Kagame of Rwanda, one of the most ruthless dictators in the history of Africa, to put him in power in the middle of our country. So they realize that they lost our people. They have no love coming from our people. Now they want to go and bring genocide. That's what they do. Excuse me. They want to go and bring genocide in the lands of that new beautiful country called Congo Federation. They want to go and bring genocide. And they want to use the hands of Paul Kagame plus Christel, the professional thief Nguesso, come together to wipe out those who are left of us, the Congo people. They concocted those deals under an economy, so-called economical deal, but it's not really economy because Christel Nguesso requested to have a military presence of Rwanda in the middle of our lands. So, which is a declaration of war. So Christel Nguesso want the Angolan army, the Rwandan army, to put him in power on the land of the Federation. That's the deal that they made. And France, just like usually, is here watching and salivating, thinking that our people will not respond. That's why I come to you. I come to the Commonwealth. I come to the United States of America. I come to all these African English-speaking countries who are watching us right now. I come to you to explain to you that France and the Republic of Congo are manufacturing a genocide against the Congo on our own lands because we have decided to part away from them. Our people have signed and decided they don't want to have nothing to do with France, nothing to do with Sassou and Nguesso anymore, nothing with the Republic of Congo. Don't forget, they still have the other half. The Republic of Congo still have the other half. It's about 5 states left on their side. Don't forget, as I'm talking to you, as we recreated the Federation of Congo, there still is a Republic of Congo. They can go there and do whatever they want with France. We don't care about that. All we have said is we do not want them or Sassou Nguesso regime on our land anymore. Their people cannot lead our people anymore. That's what our people signed in the petition. The rejection of France and the Republic of Congo leadership on our lands. The lands that I'm talking about, they're here. And we are willing to redo all the contracts. But what we want to say is, as we're speaking to you guys, the other countries, especially the English-speaking countries, what we want to do is fair deals. We have said that before. We're not against business. We're not against making money. Our mindset is based on business. Many of us live in the north. Many of us have had the opportunity to see our growth and what business can do if it's done right. Many of us have embraced a certain vision of life and respect your way of life. Because we are grateful for many of those countries who have received us, which we came and worked hard and paid taxes, and you have given us citizenship or you have given us residence, and we're grateful for that. But what we are saying is, the people where we came from, the land, the Congo people, deserve also to be developed like the people, the country where we are. We just want our people to see the type of development that we have had access to when we immigrate or when we became refugees because of Sassou Nguesso. All we're asking is the type of deal that are going to make our people grow too. If you come to do business in the land of the state of Nyaji, if you come, you bring your corporation, your company, we just want you to be fair to the people of the state of Nyaji so they can also create jobs, make sure that we have electricity, make sure that we develop the road, make sure that we have water running on the faucet. Develop the country that you come and make money from. It's a fair deal. Why is it that we have to agree to the mediocrity that France and the Republic of Congo, led by Denis Sassou Nguesso, impose on our people? That's what we have rejected. We have rejected the mediocrity. Mediocrity is not our mantra. The way they did it with France and the Republic of Congo is that, you give a couple of politicians money and you don't develop the country. And actually the opposite, you keep killing people, you keep torturing people, and you don't build the country. Who does that? Who want to be in a deal like that? Not us. That's why this new leadership, this new generation voided a contract with France, rejected their vision, and went to the people, got the support, got the signature, we have the vision, and put together a new country, and we should be respected for that. And we want to do business with all countries in the world. But we want to do fair business that will develop our people. The Congo people deserve to be developed just like it's developed in America, just like it's developed in France. France have developed their country with our resources. But they never care to develop our land. We have rejected that. We're not interested in mediocrity. Now, going to take Paul Kagame and bring him in the land of our ancestors to create a new genocide. Is that going to be a better solution? No. All he's going to do is make sure that now our people reject any foreign people who are going to come to do business in our land. It's going to turn into a bloodbath and a rejection of our people, of everybody. We wanted to start completely over. Don't forget, you have many of your corporations in this part of our country. And all I'm trying to tell you is, you have to understand, doing business doesn't mean that people who own the land don't grow. We can do business in the growth side. We are willing to do business, but the type of business that will build our land and our people, not the type of business that will leave our people, destroy, the type of business that will sell our land. We have never authorized anybody to sell our land. We don't sell land. Paul Kagame have zero authorization or right of our people to sell the land. These people, what he's talking to, they are from the Republic of Congo. That government, he went to the assembly. This government is the government of Sassou Nguesso. It's not the government of the Federation of Congo, because this land belongs to the Federation of Congo, not the Republic of Congo. So Paul Kagame making a historical mistake who's going to cost him his reputation and us also put us against his people, against Rwanda, because Rwanda needs to see that. You're going to create a war between Congo and Rwanda. That's where this thing going to go if we don't stop it. So all we're asking them is to get out of our land. We can build those 4 states and the Kingdom of Luango ourselves. We have enough minds, we have enough leaders who can do a good job. We don't need Paul Kagame to come install himself and his army to protect Christel thief Nguesso, the son of Sassou Nguesso, who have stored more money than anybody in my generation. He's been in power over 20 years with his dad. He's done nothing for our people. And he want to be a leader of our people. He has been rejected. Everybody hates him. He has zero support. Zero support. Christel thief Nguali Nguesso. Christel thief. A professional thief who have stolen more money than we can count by using oil of Luango. He created fake companies and stole oil money and got rich over that. And they also took over, they're the one who managed all the business in the Republic of Congo. Sassou Nguesso give all businesses to his kids, his children. So, what we're saying is, we have rejected that mediocrity between the Republic of Congo and France, the Federation of Congo. Our people have rejected it. We don't need you. We don't want you there. We can do business ourselves with people who understand that we want growth, we want development, we want our people to live, and we don't sell the land. We haven't sold any land to anybody. Why would we sell the land of our ancestors? If you want to come do business, you come do business. We sign a contract. If it's 3 years, 2 years, or 5 years, we do business. But you're gonna have to develop the land where you are. You're gonna have to develop our people. You're gonna have to hire people from Congo, from our states. You're gonna have to grow where you are, where you're taking resources from. But we never sell any lands to nobody. We never agree to sell any lands to Rwanda. That's a declaration of war, what they're doing. And if the international community, the United Nations, and all these English countries don't say a word, you're going to end up with what happened to Rwanda 1,000 times. You know that civil war that happened in Rwanda in 1994 is going to be 1,000 times. And the reason why I'm telling you that, because the Congo, you see the Congo people, the original people, when in 1950, when during the Berlin Conference, when we divided this in different countries, the Congos are all over Africa. We're not just called of the Congo from these four states and King. We call the Congos from every country to come fight to protect our land, because that's the first country where all the Congos from anywhere in the world are welcome back to their land. So we will call them to fight to save the only part that they have in the world. All this because when you split Africa in many countries, the Congo, the people who, the descendant of the Congo Empire, they are spread all over the world. And one of them, I'm in the United States. So think about how many of us are in the United States, or how many of us are in Cameroon, in Gabon, in all over the place. I can bet you, if you're trying to create another genocide, which is the position that Kagame, the Republic of Congo, and France are taking, is going to be this time bloodier than you think. Because we will never give up our land. We never agree to sell our land to nobody. We want to do business. You come do business. We make a contract. You develop where we are. You take the resources. You develop your country. But we don't sell you the land. We never agree to sell the land. I've never signed anything. And I have people's support. Bernard Pungui never signed anything. He has the people's support. Ejin Kai never signed anything. He has the people's support. Sa Majesté Machika Zinga Premier, the king of Rwanda, never signed anything. He has the people's support. Makoso Sang never signed anything. He has the people's support. So we never signed any authorization to sell our land. So to us, it's a declaration of war. And if you let that happen, I just want to make sure that you understand what I'm saying. You see that genocide in Rwanda that happened is going to be all over Africa, because we're going to go call for every Congo in the world to fight to protect the only place that they have, which is this federation. We call all of them. Not just those that you think who are from the Republic of Congo. We call all the Congos who are spread between Gabon, Cameroon, South Africa, Ethiopia, Haiti. We will call on all the Congos to come fight to protect the 4 United States of the Federation and the Kingdom of Rwanda. You think the genocide of Rwanda was bad. Watch what's going to happen. If you don't stop these guys, we will never give away our lands anymore. That's over. We are not Sassou Nguesso, because that's not his land. You cannot give what is not yours. Christel, thief, professional thief, Nguesso, have zero right to sell anything in the state of Nyadi, in the state of Buenza, in the state of Mpangala, in the state of Lekumu, and in the kingdom of Luango. He has zero right to sell anything. And if you let that happen, I can guarantee you it's going to be the worst. You think people are afraid now to go to World War III because of what's happening in Russia and Ukraine? Think about having all Africa destabilized. Think about Africa on fire. That's what you're going to have. And never forget, that's where your companies are, where you do business, right? Because that's where the resources are. We'd rather have it all go on fire than let these people take our lands. We never agreed to sell anything to them. So my communication tonight was to try to call on the Commonwealth, on the United States of America, on all these African-speaking English countries. Talk to Rwanda. Call Paul Kagame. Explain to him that his move going to burn down Africa. Because we have the people's support. We're going to call up all the Congos all over the world to come fight with us to protect that land. We'd rather have it burning all down than give it to them. I think France is understanding that now. That's why they brought Paul Kagame. And that's not good even for France. It's a wrong move. You cannot impose yourself. Our people have rejected your deal. Your deal didn't work for us. If you want to do deal with Sassou Nguesso in the north over there, or whatever is left of the Republic of Congo. But you have zero right to make any deal on those lands here. And we have said to France that if you insist, we will call on the nuclear option. The nuclear option will be to basically run you off our lands. Every company, every business, you will be chased out of our lands. And I don't think France wants that. I don't think you want to be chased out of the land of the Federation Congo. But if you keep pushing it, we're going to call for it. We call this the nuclear option. And to Rwanda, you're not the only one who can go to war or be ruthless. All of us can be ruthless if we choose to. Our people have suffered enough. We don't need to waste time fighting with Rwanda. Sassou Nguesso brought us 40 years of destruction. So if you want to get to the path, the same path to come take the sovereign land, is going to be a historical mistake, because we're going to push Africa in. We're going to call on all the Congos everywhere. Africa is going to go on fire. It's not just going to be our lands. We're going to make sure that it's burned, all of that. The world is not going to have peace, because the war is going to come to them. Yes, you're not gonna have. There's no be the way of getting out of this. If it's war, it will be no peace. It will be no stability. You're not gonna make business. You're not gonna make billions of dollars of our resources. That's done. Our people are gonna rise up in a way that you never seen, because they already had over 50 years of suffering. Now they just have an opportunity to build themselves, and then you're trying to come and trample on that again by injecting genocide in people. We're gonna respond because we have to protect our people. When we took the leadership of the Federation of Congo, we have promised three things: the protection of the original people of the Congo, the protection of our resources, and the protection of our lands. So we have not agreed to sell you anything. It's a big mistake. So I'm going to stop there tonight. My plea is to tell to all those English-speaking countries, to the Commonwealth, we would like you to intervene before it becomes too late. We would like you to intervene. Excuse me. We would like you to intervene. You know, the Federation exists. You all have received documentation. We would like you to intervene quickly to stop more suffering, or to stop the destabilization of Africa, because we're going to call to all the Congos to come fight. Basically, it's going to destabilize all the countries that you think you put together in 19 after the Berlin Conference. That's going to be different, because this is the only place that they can feel like the Congo that are left can come, they can call home. We're going to call on all of them. And Rwanda going to go, basically, you're not going to like what's going to happen. So I would like those countries to come and intervene and stop this madness. People have the right to live free. Freedom cannot just be for others. Congo people also deserve to have the freedom. They deserve to grow. They deserve to do business, to live, to be developed. That's why we're here today. Because they didn't do it the last 50 years. And we have made the commitment to our people that we're going to deliver that, and we're going to protect them, and we're going to do anything in our power to make sure that we don't get wiped out. And we have never agreed to sell the lands. We are not selling any lands in the Federation of Congo. We can do business, but we're not selling our lands. Okay, I'm going to stop there. It's been almost 2 hours. I want to thank you. Please share that video. And I would like to all the politicians in the Western world, in the Eastern world, to watch that video, to understand that the situation about the Federation Congo, if it's not solved, if we cannot have our country, if we cannot have opportunity to grow, if you turn that into a genocide situation, it's going to spread all over Africa, because we're going to call on all the Congo to stand up. Basically, it's going to be a destabilization everywhere. You're not going to make money anymore. We know that some make money with war, but not everybody make money with war. It's a couple of companies that make money with war. What about the other companies that make money with war? Do you want to lose your place where you go get the cotton, or where you go get gold, or all these natural resources? I don't think you want to do that. But we will call for that, because we will not let the Congo disappear because you're trying to satisfy who? France, or Paul Kagame, or Christel Thief Nguesso. They have stored more money that you can even count already. Why can't you let our people be and develop ourselves? We can make money. We don't need to kill everybody to make money. That's what we're saying. So basically, for us, we're trying to avoid the nuclear option, because the nuclear option, if we decide to apply that, everybody's going to be run out of our land. And I don't think you want that. And it's going to spread over Africa. Ah, yeah, because the Congo are everywhere. We are everywhere. This piece of land that you see is their place, is their refuge. The signatures come from everywhere, from Europe, everywhere in Africa. They just don't come from the land. They come from everywhere. That's how we got 30,000 signatures. Because they're watching how you're going to treat us. And I urge you to consider to stop this declaration of war from Rwanda, Paul Kagame, and from the Republic of Congo, because it's two countries that are actually attacking our sovereignty. We have never agreed to sell any land. We have never agreed to sell any land. Coming from the four United States, the state of Nyadi, the state of Lekumu, the state of Pangala, the state of Buenza, and the kingdom of Luango. We never agreed to sell anything. I want to make it clear. Thank you again to all. Please, I'd like all the politicians of all these Commonwealth countries, all these English African countries speaking to watch that video. It's important because it's going to affect all of us. And I'm just going to end up in French to say aux ayants droit, merci encore. Il fallait que je partage cette vidéo en anglais. Je sais que je voulais parler en français, mais bon, ça fait près de 2 heures. C'était pour dire à la partie anglophone du monde que s'ils n'interviennent pas pour arrêter Paul Kagame et Christel Nguesso, le plus grand voleur de ma génération, s'ils n'arrêtent pas cette connerie-là, nous allons soulever tous les Congos d'Afrique pour qu'ils viennent protéger la fédération. Donc, le génocide qu'ils pensent qu'ils vont créer sur les terres Congo là, va se répandre dans toute l'Afrique. Parce qu'on va aller soulever maintenant tous les Congos du monde, parce que c'est la seule terre que nous avons. La fédération, là, c'est la seule terre que les Congos originels avec K1. Les 4 États-Unis, l'État de la Buenza, l'État de la Lekumu, l'État de Mpangala et l'État du Nyadi, avec le royaume Luango. Ce sont nos seules terres qui nous restent. Nous allons déclencher tous les Congos à travers le monde pour venir protéger cette terre-là. Et ça va emmener la déstabilisation de l'Afrique. C'est le message que j'ai essayé de passer à la partie anglophone. Donc, qui ne pense pas que ça va être juste ici, là, qu'il y aura la pagaille. On va emmener ça partout. Parce qu'on ne veut pas donner nos terres. On n'a pas vendu nos terres à qui que ce soit. Nous, le leadership, le Conseil fédéral Congo, on n'a autorisé aucune vente des terres de la fédération. Que ce soit clair pour tout le monde. Mais écoutez, merci encore à tous. C'était Gervais Birangui ici. Que Dieu vous bénisse. On va se voir bientôt. Merci. Thank you again. Thank you for everybody.